Welcome, everybody. It's Peter du Toit with my main man, Tsepo Masilela, and it's talking Kaizer Chiefs. And the big talking point at the moment is Kaizer Chiefs' new signing, Makabi Lilepo. And I hope I've got the pronunciation right. And it looks like a new look Kaizer Chiefs. We've got Morris and Lilepo signing. So hopefully signing, as if we believe the reports. And that could mean a new look Kaizer Chiefs against in the derby against Orlando Pirates or against free agents in the Nedbank Cup. Tsepo, the story is right now that this is from my contacts at Kaizer Chiefs. This is a Nabi signing. He's going to be arriving. The fees have been agreed. Terms are going to be agreed, and it's just about the medical. And it's unlikely that things will go wrong in the medical because he's obviously been playing. But he's not well known in South Africa, and we'll discuss all about the player, but he's a winger. And if you look at it, Kaizer Chiefs have got four wingers. They've got Modi, Potsani, Vilakazi, and Sirino. It is the one area that they are basically two players per side. Do they need another winger? Mm-hmm. Were there not other priorities?
Yeah, they do need a winger, in my opinion. As you just said, it's the Nabi signing. So the wingers that are there, Peter, it's not a coach's signing. It's players that he found there. Most of them, except for Sirino. So I'm looking at that Kaizer Chiefs team, and especially in the left side, we've seen Siali, we've seen Potane, we've seen Modi, we've seen Sirino. All getting a chance. It looks like no one owns that position, and I'm sure the coach wanted to strengthen in that area. And with a player that he knows, with a player that he feels comfortable with, and with a player that he thinks is going to do the job for him.
Right. So the good news is, Kaizer Chiefs fans, he's match fit. If you look at the last four games very quickly, he played on the 13th of December, he played 70 minutes. 22nd of December, he played 89 minutes. 10th of Jan, he played 27 minutes. And the last game he played, 14th of Jan, he played 90 minutes. And had 3 shots at goal. So he's match fit. That's the important thing. If you look at his stats, there's some impressive stuff here, though, Tsepo. Let's have a look at, for example, if you look at his club record, and you must remember a lot of these records that are coming from Africa are possibly not 100% accurate, but for Vita, which is their biggest club in Congo, 3 goals in 8 games, but he was a youngster. Al Hilal in Sudan, which is a top club, 5 goals in 10 games, and 8 goals in 16 CAF games in African championships. So that's a hell of a record for a winger.
Yes, those are good returns for a winger. And again, he's played at the AFCON, I think in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. And that's also a big stage in our continent. And as you mentioned, Vita, massive team in Congo, AS Vita, and Al Hilal also. We know they're a big team. Most of the time they're in the Champions League competing in that space. So it shows that he's a guy that's been to teams that teams with high expectations and teams that demands are high, from the fans, from everyone. The standard is high. So I'm assuming him joining Chiefs, it's another team that the demands are high and expectations are very high. So again, 8 goals in 16 Champions League game in our continent. That's also impressive. So I think he's a guy that we need to give a chance, Peter.
I agree. So one thing we can say that what I like about this, a couple of things we like about the player. Number one, he's match fit. He's been playing. Number two, he's a winger that actually scores goals. And maybe Nabi will actually use him as a 9 as well, by the way, or even as a 10. But certainly a winger who scored the amount of goals he has, that's an incredibly impressive record. That doesn't include, by the way, and this is what I wanted to say, for Valenciennes, his club, which is in the 3rd division, but he scored 7 goals in 46 games. I mean, that's an impressive record with 5 assists by any standard. So it looks like, if you look purely on the stats, Chiefs have got a winger here who's match fit and who can score goals, and has scored goals. Not only he's scored goals all over the place. It's not like he's had one good spell. He scored goals at Vita, he scored goals at Hilal, and he scored goals at Valenciennes, and he scored goals at national level. At the national level in Congo, 3 goals in 8 games. Again, as a winger. That's a superb record. I'm surprised the clubs let him go. One other point I want to talk to you about as well, and you can talk to this. and I think is a big positive about this player, is that generally speaking, players take time to adapt. But
Yes.
what I like about Lilepo is that born in Congo, actually came and played, by the way, in Swaziland as well when he was young on loan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he was going to go to Zamalek, and he played in. I speak under correction, but I'm sure he played a bit of time in Swaziland. But he's played he's played in different countries and has adapted
Yes.
quickly. So
Yes, I love
he
this.
should adapt quickly to South African football. It's not somebody who's been in one country and now this is away from home. He's understood living away from home. He's left his home in Congo to go to different places in Africa. He's gone to France, adapted, and coming to South Africa, he should adapt pretty quickly. So that I think is a very good sign as well. And if you look at, he's played at national team level and scores goals. So it does look like they've got a player. The only question I want to ask you is that you move from country to country. And I think, and I'd like your opinion on this, some players can adapt quickly and some players always struggle. You adapted quickly to Israel, you adapted quickly to Spain, and quickly coming back to South Africa. Are some players just can't adapt and some players adapt quickly? Because he looks like a guy who can adapt quickly.
Yeah, he looks like a guy, who's ready. And you look at his age; he's 27 years now. So he's not a youngster that we will say, he's homesick, blah blah blah. He still needs 2 years. But some players do take time, Peter. And in my case, what helped me is I was involved with the under 23s. So we used to, play a lot of friendlies and we travel out of the country, go play in Mali, go play in Senegal. So that also, helped me to be tougher, and understand situations and different environments. If you are exposed to the national team at the junior level, it helps you because you move out from your comfort zone, always playing in South Africa. You get hostile environment, the crowd, the reception, how the hotels, the food, that also makes you strong mentally. In my case, I think being in the under 23 setup at an early age really played a huge role in me,
So then
adapting.
this will help him as well because he's moved around from a young age. Let's take a short break, then we'll come look at possible negatives about the signing. Well, not negatives, but things we should be aware of as well.
Golden liquid pouring, gold splashing, gold swirling, waves of gold foaming, cut to reveal more gold. It's easy to make a beer that looks gold, but to make a beer that wins gold, that's a different story. Carling Black Label, Africa's most awarded beer.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Tsepo Masilela and Peter Toit, and we're talking about Makabi Lilepo, who should be putting pen to paper for Kaizer Chiefs in the next couple of days if he passes the medical, which I'm pretty certain that he will. He's a big, tough guy. A couple of other things, Tsepo. First of all, he's 6'1" in my language, from the generation I come from, and 1.85 meters from in today's language, which is a big boy for a winger. And the only other point I want to make, and not put a damper on the signing, Siali was also a big boy for a winger. Hasn't really been from his own country, hasn't really been successful. Because normally wingers are nippy guys like the Sirinos and the Vilakazis. So it's interesting. It's a different style. Excuse me. But 27, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's going to have to adapt to South African style of football. So that could be the one issue. But the thing that could concern me, and I'd like your opinion on this, is that moving from the third division in France, there's no ways you can tell me that the third division in France, the PSL, I'm certain that the PSL, I think the PSL is a tough league. I think there's teams play defensive football, attacking football, the conditions that, it's hot, cold, it's all the country's different, whereas France is, similar climate all over the country. The fields are the same. It's not an easy place for a foreigner to come and play. And third division to South African Premier League, I think it's a big jump. I think that's the risk factor. Your comments on the risk factor?
Yeah, when you look at the age and the league is playing in, you kind of get, worried a bit. How does he end up a 27-year-old, after looking at his profile, surely should maybe be in, a premiership of any other league. But
Correct.
Again, we don't really know the standard of that division. We don't see much of that, and I would say it's a case where we trust Nabi on this one because he's the coach's signing, and he's seen him before. Apparently, he wanted him at Yanga at some stage when he was at
Correct.
Yanga in Tanzania. So it's a case of we have to trust Nabi with this signing.
Correct. And I would agree with you because there's a very good example of a similar example. In fact, an example that was more extreme is Ernst Middendorp signed Nurkovic. And if you look at Nurkovic's record in Europe, Nurkovic's record basically looked like an amateur player in the clubs he was with in the various countries he played in Europe. But when he came to Kaizer Chiefs, he was a sensation, and possibly with him, and he was possibly the best player that season, which they almost won the league. Unfortunately, he missed the chance at the very end that actually cost them the league, along with Kunes Era against Barocca, I think it was. But so it doesn't necessarily mean if you're playing in a lower league you can't do well, but it is a question. Yeah. So that's the one other thing. Fitting in language-wise. French, moving from Africa, North Africa, where they speak French, to France, not a problem. Language-wise, how do you think it fit in? How does the language problem exist? With, you were there when you went to Makabi. You don't speak Hebrew. Is there going to be a language problem? There's no. The whole bench speaks French though, so that's a plus factor.
It's a very big plus for him, because the instructions from the coaches will come in French, and it's a language that he understands. And maybe with the teammates, it might take, some time, but if you have the coaches that will support you, and they look at the bench at Kaizer Chiefs, they both speak English and French, so I think that's a big plus for him, and it shouldn't be much of a problem. I think Seattle is moving, because they have to make a spot for foreigners. So unfortunately, won't be there to help him much with with the runarounds and the environment settling in. I think it's moving. That's what we heard, but it's not confirmed yet.
That's a good point. We'll take another short break, and then I'll ask you a few more questions on the signing of Makabi for Kaizer Chiefs. See you after the break. Welcome back, guys. Tsepo Masilela, Peter du Toit, talking Kaizer Chiefs. Tsepo, I've got two questions before we close, and I think they're important questions. First of all, he's the marquee signing. I think that puts a lot of pressure on him. The fans have been demanding a signing. Nabi's been saying, I need players. Morris has come in, but this has taken the pressure off Morris. This is the big signing. It's cost 10 million, almost 10 million rand. So it is the big signing from a money point of view, and he comes with a reputation, and it's Nabi signing. A lot of pressure. First game, first touch, going to be so important for this player's confidence and the fans' reaction to him. What do you think?
Definitely at the team like Kaizer Chiefs, there's always pressure, Peter. And you look at the last couple of years, they haven't been doing well. So it's added pressure also on the players and everyone involved in the team. So the pressure is there, and I think again, since it's the coach's signing, everyone is looking at the player. What is the coach bringing us? He's been vocal about getting quality. So then also it's also pressure to the coach, because now we're saying, okay, you want quality, and it seems like this guy was through your recommendation. We want to see what you're bringing us. Kaizer Chiefs fans are excited, and at the same time, it's pressure, definitely.
Especially if he's playing on the right side, and if Sirino, for example, let's assume he's playing left side, and Sirino's on the bench, they're going to be calling for Sirino to come on if he doesn't do well. If he's playing on the right side and he's not doing well, they'll be calling for Vilakazi to come on. So there's a lot of pressure. I may possibly play him down the middle, but that may not be his right position. But that's the first thing. The second thing, obviously, is to ease the pressure. Assuming the paperwork's done, wouldn't you recommend that they play both him and Morris in the first game against the free agents? Because it's an easy game to settle in. Chiefs should win this easily, and he could get a couple of goals. They could start dazzling, playing the ball around. It's an easier way of easing the pressure on both Morris and Makabi.
Morris, maybe I'll start Morris, but Makabi, nah, I can't start Makabi. You know, looking at when is the game and when is they arriving, I think maybe if everything is sorted, all goes well, keep him on the bench, Peter. Get goals, get 1, 2, 3 goals, and then bring him on last 30 minutes. You know, just to introduce him to the fans and to his teammates. Last 30 minutes, definitely, but not as a starter.
Okay, I agree with you. In fact, I agree with you. I'd start Morris and I'd bring him on with maybe a little bit more than 30 minutes to go. Then the Derby. Assuming they do well, would you play him?
I play him. If he does well, I play him, Peter, in the Derby. That's the stage. That's the stage where big game for big players. Coach Stewart used to say that to us. Every time we're going into a Derby game. On a Monday, he would say, big game for big players. You need to bring your A game. And players, they get motivation. It can be a make or break. Yes, I understand that. At the same time, it can be a make or break, but, that's the game where you want to be. You want to be in and you want to shine. You can win the fans. With that game alone, you can win the fans, Peter. But if he does well let's assume he plays in the netball. If I'm the coach, I throw him in.
I agree. He's fit. He's got a reputation, and Pirates don't know him, so they won't exactly be sure how to defend against him. If I was Chiefs, I agree with you. I'd give him 30, 40 minutes against free agents, and then bring him on either side. And if Chiefs play Sirino on the one side and him on the other side, Pirates could have a handful on the flanks because those fullbacks push high. But let's see. We'll keep in tune, and hopefully that the signing gets done this week, and we see Kaizer Chiefs' new signing on the pitch or certainly on the bench against free agents. Tsepo, thank you for talking Chiefs. Take it out.
Thank you, Peter. I'm Makosi and all the Soccerbeat lovers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment.
And ring the bell. Cheers, guys.
Soccerbeat, ouça!